All right, boys and girls, we're doing multiplication patterns with decimals. The essential question is, how can patterns help you place the decimal point in the product? This is pretty important to understand, especially with base 10, because multiplying decimals is going to become easy if you understand that you're just moving the place value. That's what multiplying is. So if we look at the pattern, it says Cindy is combining equal size rectangles from different fabric patterns to make a postage stamp quilt. Each rectangle has the area of 75/100ths of a square inch. If she uses 1,000 rectangles to make the quilt, what will the area of the rectangle be? So I know I'm using base 10 because my numbers are based on 1,000, and that's one of the base 10s. So whenever it's on a base 10, it's just a matter of moving the decimal. So let's look at the pattern. 1 times 75/100ths equals 75/100ths. That's the identity property. Anything times 1 is the same as the factor is the product. If I take 10 times 75/100ths, I get 7 and 5/10ths. Notice what happened. My decimal was here. It moved one place. My number got larger because whenever I take it times a whole number, it's going to get larger. My numbers for my factor and my product never changed. I still was using the digits 7 and 5, and I have a 7 and a 5 in my product. If I take it times 100, times 75/100ths, I get my decimal moves 2 because there's 2 place values in 100, and I get 75 whole. If I take it times 1,000 times 75/100ths, I have to add a 0 to hold the place because my decimal's got to move 3 places. So now I know I'm going to have 750 square inches. As you multiply by increasing powers of 10, which is 1, 10, 100, 1,000, what happens to your decimal? Well, my decimal moves to the right, and my number gets greater. And that's pretty important to remember. When you're doing it times a whole number, my decimal moves to the right as many place values as I need it, and my number gets larger or greater. All right, what kind of pattern do we notice if we're doing it times a 1/10 or 1/100th or 1/1000th? So I'm only taking it times part of a whole. So George is making a scale model of the Willis Tower in Chicago for a theater set. The height of the tower is 1,353 feet. If the model is 1/100th of the actual size of the building, how tall is the model? So what fraction of the actual building are we trying to make the model? Well, we're doing 1/1000th, so we want it to be, and how do we write that from a fraction to a decimal? We just put a decimal, and we put our 1 in the 100th place. So when we look at it, 1 times 1,353 equals 1,353. Identity property. But you notice again, my factor number and my product number, taking it times a base 10, the digits did not change. If I take it times a 10th, times 1,353 equals 153 and 3/10ths. Notice my digits didn't change, but my value did. I moved the decimal to the left. My number got smaller. So if I have it times 1/100th, which is 2 place values, times 1,353, I know I'm going to use those same digits, so I'm just going to write them. And I know my decimal is going to move 2 place values, 1, 2. It is 13 and 53 feet tall. Notice how my digits got smaller. So how did it change down here? My decimal moved to the left, and my number got smaller or less. All right, so I hope that's kind of sinking in which way we have to go. And I need an eraser. So let's move on to the next page, and we're going to put what we know into practice. So it says here, 3 friends are selling items at the art and craft fair. Josie makes $45.75 selling jewelry. Mark makes 100 times as much as Josie by selling his custom furniture. So I really need to know it's 100 times more than Josie's, and Josie's is $45.75. Carlos makes a tenth of the money that Mark makes. So we don't know what Mark makes yet. We have to figure that out by selling his painting. How much does each friend make? So first of all, what do I know? I know Josie makes $45.75, and I know Mark makes 100 times as much as $45.75. So I'm just going to quick go through the pattern because this is so new for me. I remember that I just write the digits, and when I take it times 1, identity property, it stays the same. If I take it times 10, my digits stay the same, but it gets 1 place larger because I'm taking it times 10. My decimal was here. It is now $457.50. I can put a 0 here if I need to for 50 cents when it's money. Now I'm going to take it times 100. So I'm going to put those same digits down. And I know I'm moving it 3 place values because there's, or 2 place values, sorry, because there's 2 places in 100. So if it was here, and I'm going to move it 2 places, 1, 2, and I can put zeros back there for cents if I need to, being I'm talking about money. So I know Josie made $45.75. Mark made $4,575.00. So now I've got the information about what Mark makes, so I can fill this in. Carlos made 1/10, and that's how I write a tenth, times $4,575. So I think 1 times 4,575 equals 4,575 because it's a identity property. But now if I take it times a tenth, because that's what I need to find out, and that's the next thing in the pattern, times 4,575, I know my number is going to get smaller. Here's where my decimal is, because where's a decimal in a whole number? That might be an issue that we need to talk about. In a whole number, a decimal, whether we put it there or not, is always at the end of a whole number. If I have 14 whole, there's my decimal. If I have 602, there's my decimal. It's always after a whole number. All right, so I've got to figure out, I move it to the left, and in a tenth, it's 1 place value, so I move it to the left once. How much did Carlos make? He made $457.50. So it's just a matter of knowing which way you should go. Is my number going to get larger or smaller? And how many place values are they talking about? So let's complete this chart here together. So 10 to the first power is like saying 10. If there's no power, or 10 to the 0 power, there's no power of 10, so it's just a 1. So 1 times 478 means the identity property, it stays exactly the same. 10 to the first power is like saying 10, so 10 times 478, and I know here was my decimal, my number is going to get larger, I have to move it 1 place value. 10 to the second power is 100, so I'm going to put my digits down. Here's where my decimal was. It has 2 place values in 100. All right, and we're going to move it 2 place values, and now we're at 478. 10 to the third power is 1,000, so we have 478. We move it 3 places, 1, 2, 3. I have to add a 0 to do that. Okay, we're going to continue on with the next video, guys. So this